Ready? Okay, tell me. Shut up.
So no.
Hey, that could be jerking off right now.
No, you can't, because that's filming and that's filming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't be jerking off right now. Go next door.
You can go next door and jerk off if you really want to.
All right.
So we only see the back.
I got a laundry.
No, we got cameras on.
Just kidding.
There's cameras all over.
There's another one over there.
It's nice when your haircut's perfect and you take your helmet off and it looks like that.
That's perfect.
It's rare.
You
Ready?
didn't comb it after that?
No, it's helmet head.
Ready? Hey, what's up? Shut up, fucking dickhead.
Come on, bro.
Bloopers! Hi, welcome to San Diego Kustoms' first show, Nightmoves. I am Chip. This is Danny G. That is Mikey. That is our special guest, Pete Finlan.
Hello.
How did you transition from your own shop to West Coast Choppers?
Well, at that time, a friend of mine who was, I think they call him the garage manager for the TV show. He's the guy that lined up parts and people and all that. And he called me up and said, we need you to come up and audition for the, and I don't know if you remember how Monster Garage worked. There was a guy at the beginning drawing.
Okay.
As Jesse explained what we're going to build,
Okay.
and then the experts are there. Everybody wanted to be a builder on the show, but nobody wanted to do that or even knew that you could. So I went up and did that, made a little quick drawing. The guy said, okay, cool, you're on this show. And I said, I want to be on as a builder too. And he said, you can do that? And I said, I can do everything they're doing on this show. So I ended up on the first show, which was a PT Cruiser, made a tree chipper out of it. Yeah, and I made the whole back door open and close, all automatic, all the fabrication work. And then during the show, they do like a monster profile of the people on the show. I had driven in a car that I painted, and Jesse was walking around it, looking at it, and he said, you painted this? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I want to build you a shop. So I went, yeah, bullshit, whatever. And 2 or 3 months later, he said, come up and look at the shop. And I closed my shop and went up there.
Oh, fuck.
So 8 years later, and I stayed till the shop closed.
Moved up to Long Beach? And
No, I still lived in Vista. 168 miles a day I commuted.
God,
He's a commuter.
damn, dude.
Yeah.
He got himself a little chopper.
Yeah, what did you commute on?
Well, I had a bike built there too, but that wasn't all the time.
No, not on that
No,
bike.
but I had a customer that gave me a BMW, like the cops ride. And that's what I commuted on, and no, it was rad.
How many bikes do you think you painted from start to finish?
There?
Yeah. And cars.
I don't know, probably 100.
Really?
We didn't build a lot of bikes,
Right.
In 8 years, only 100 bikes?
It might be a little more than that, but
Okay.
I also did all his race car stuff.
That's a
all
lot.
the
That seems
toys.
like a lot.
Yeah.
If you divide 8.
Yeah, but when you've got like a,
For that
it's
price
almost like a
range, that's quite a
factory
bit, yeah.
of fucking motorcycles with, how many employees were there?
At the height of it, probably 60.
Yeah, you got 60 guys and you're turning out.
Yeah, but you're dealing with parts.
We were making
manufacturing,
parts. There was a whole
Okay, fair
setup that
enough.
was car
Fair
guys, we
enough.
call them, that handled his race car junk and
Okay.
his personal cars. And
Yeah, so I'm sure he has a whole fleet of people.
yeah, there might have been more. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah. What's your favorite bike that you painted there?
Mine.
Yeah. Mine too.
No, and what was cool about mine is the bikes kind of look the same even when I was working there, because it was kind of a look. You wanted that with flames or that with a teardrop,
Right.
When I built my bike, I didn't ask anything. I just did what I wanted to do. When Jesse looked at it, he said, you know what, you fucked yourself. And I thought, whoa, man, I messed up. And he said, now they all have to look like that. So then it became...
What was different about yours? I mean, I know, but tell everybody else because for people who don't know.
I kind of hit every part on it, kind of like I'm doing with your guys' bikes.
Right.
Which changes everything. Just putting a lot more effort into the paint on the bikes.
Right.
Where back then it was more about what the pipes look like, what the shape of the tank looked like.
Paint was secondary.
But when you do the same thing over and over, they start to look the same. Even though it's a rad bike.
What's your second favorite? Take yours out of the loop.
The second favorite. Probably one of the last ones, this guy J.J. Barnhart's bike. It was like one of the chrome frame Diablos.
All right.
Right towards the end.
Do you like the CFL 2s?
Yeah, they're cool, but we didn't do enough of them. We only built 3.
Did you paint the red one? Red one with yellow flames?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Did you paint Shaq's bike too?
No, that was before me.
Okay.
That was a Damon's one.
All right.
Yeah.
Purple. Another purple.
Trying to think of the bikes I remember coming out of there.
You and Shaq.
I know, us Africans
You guys
like,
you should go ride together.
we like purple
Yeah.
shit,
I
dog.
know. You guys should go ride together. Cruise down
right.
I think he just sold that thing.
Who the hell can ride that? 7
I
feet
know.
tall.
It's
It's like
Those
10
bikes
feet
are going
long.
cheap right now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is trippy.
Doesn't
to
your
me,
friend
man.
have a bunch of them?
Yeah, he's got like 13,
Yeah.
I think, 14 of them.
Fuck, say what you want about those things are timeless, man.
Yeah.
I like those bikes.
Yeah,
Well, moving on after that.
yeah.
Now that you're back down here.
Well, no.
Oh,
Tell
Mike
us-
has questions.
I want to know about the end of West Coast Choppers. I
What do
want
you
to know
wanna know?
why. People
Why?
don't know why it ended.
Okay, Pete,
Why did it end?
why did it end?
That face.
Oh, man.
Oh man, I don't know what to answer this.
Take a sip of your water.
There's
Water's
personal
great.
opinions, but it's just when the motorcycle world ended, the chopper thing, he didn't want to adapt. You know, people can say what they want, that his personal life did it, the economy did it. It was just he didn't want to do what the people wanted.
It's crazy to think that whole thing did come to such a crash. Like nobody was immune to it. You know,
No.
all the top dudes, everything.
No.
It just shut off. You either adapted and moved into the next thing, or you're
Yeah.
fucking done, man.
Yeah, like the people like Paul Yaffe that instantly
Yep.
boom into the baggers. Or Roland Sands goes, hey man, I'm going to make parts for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Roland's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Which is
Definitely.
crazy because
And-
Jesse really could have done the. You know, I feel he could have easily moved right into the high performance thing.
Oh, he would have
yeah.
crushed
whatever,
it totally.
Yeah.
It would have been that train would have kept on fucking going for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and then it was more, I'm not going to go too far into that stuff, but it was more like, if you want my parts, you have to buy a bike.
Right.
There's no one buying bikes, so
Exclusivity.
buy.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, that's cool. It's kind of weird that back then, I didn't know you back then. Now I know you, and now we're working together. That trips me out all the time, and all the things that I've learned from you in regards to what is really going on in the motorcycle industry, as opposed to the preconceived notion that everybody has that
Sure.
it's glorious and money filled and there's just parts falling off of fucking trees
Yeah.
and you know, to make something is really cool, and then you
Yeah.
have it and then this guy copies it, and you know, or this guy steals it, or this
Yep.
guy takes it and throws it outside and then picks it up in his car later, and
Yeah.
you wonder what the
And
fuck
that's one of
happened
the cool
to
things
it.
about being a painter is I get to watch them all come and go.
Yeah,
Because the
it's
next
trippy.
trend still needs a paint job.
Yeah, yeah.
Next trend still
You
needs
picked,
a
a
paint
good, you
job.
picked a good line of work.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Or if you're
You
like,
picked a good part of the
imagine
industry.
the stories a
Definitely.
chrome shop guy could tell you because he's been there through all of it. You know?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he's been through the black bike stage and then the chrome bike stage.
Yeah.
I remember when Pete told me he wouldn't paint anything black for me. And I had to beg him for like 6 months to paint my fairing on that Dyna out there. And then he goes, it's blacker than anybody else's. And he goes, look at it. And you look like you could stick your finger in it, like, because it looked like it was wet.
Yeah.
But,
Wow, look at Mikey's bike. That's why I don't like black.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I dig it, man. I agree with you. I mean, I like black. I have a couple black bikes.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get the whole black thing.
Sure.
But I also get the blingy paint Pete thing, which I appreciate.
Well, what's the bike you ride? Your root beer one.
My blingy
You don't-
Pete paint
you
thing.
don't ride the black one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I fully agree, 100%.
You've painted a lot of bikes for San Diego Customs. What's your favorite one that you've painted?
It's gonna be my bike. What the fuck do you think? What kind of fucking question
Your
is
bike
that?
doesn't count yet because it's still in a lift.
It counts.
No, it
What's
doesn't.
your favorite bike you
The
painted
red
for
bike
us?
probably doesn't even count yet, even though it's coming off the lift.
That counts. He's
Tomorrow.
painted.
Even
it
though he's
counts.
sitting right there, I would say yes, that one, the white one, Mikey's bike.
Really?
Purple African.
In comparison to the red bike?
They're different. That one's got a ton more work in it, but when you walk up to that one, it's like whoa.
Right,
That one you have to get into it.
Yeah.
And stand there, and you got to catch it in the right light.
You
to
catch
see
it in
everything.
the sun for sure.
You've never painted a whole bike where you've painted every component on it before? Or you have?
What do you mean every component?
Well, I mean,
Like the red one? I haven't done anything
yeah.
as much as the red one.
Everything that we could paint.
Yeah.
And do you think, because I get this question a lot, do you think the motor, the candy on the motor is going to last
Hell yeah. Well,
from heat?
yeah.
Because people ask that a lot. Just
Now the only part, car's the same way. The only part I can't paint is exhaust.
right, because it gets
Yeah.
too hot.
Yeah. But
Right.
a car, I can paint the block. I can paint heads. I can paint intake manifolds.
Valve
Motorcycle's
covers,
no
all
different,
that,
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I see like what a lot of your work is. I'm sure you notice it. Like photographs don't do it
Nuh-uh.
justice. Your bikes, you
Well,
have to see
sunlight
them.
does it.
You have to see them in
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
to see how fucking far ahead you are from
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a trip. Like that red bike, I've seen it in photos, and I'm like, oh, it's dope. It's red.
Yeah.
But I see it here all the time, and it's fucking mind-blowing every time I see it.
Well, here's a question for you. In the painter world, who are your peers in the paint world? I'm just curious because, I mean, I know a few. I don't know a bunch of painters, but I know a few of them. But the ones that I know, no one's to your level.
There isn't anybody right now. Well, obviously there's guys like Danny D up in L.A.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's more known for lowriders, but he gets down on bikes too. Who else? I'm thinking like that much work and style.
Yeah,
wise
I'm just
and all
thinking that guys that you look at their paint jobs and you go, "Fuck, that's a good paint job," you know? Because I've seen you look at paint jobs and go, "He missed it. He missed it." And I look at it and I go, "I thought that was pretty good."
Usually, if I do
and
say
we
something,
say that a lot.
Yeah, I know.
If I say something bad, it's usually I say they missed it.
Yeah,
or
no,
they did too much.
Yeah, no, I've never heard you say, "Oh, that sucks." I've never heard you knock a paint job.
Yeah.
But I have heard you say he missed it.
My kind of thing with it is, you don't have to do everything you know how to do on everything you do.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
And that
no,
happens a
absolutely. You
lot.
can't throw all your tricks
That
at every
happens so
single
much on
paint job.
motorcycles.
Yeah,
Like every little trick I know how to do, I'm going to do on everything I paint.
yeah.
And it doesn't work, you know.
Do you-
Your bike has a lot going on, but it doesn't. You can look at it and there's nothing that upsets you when you look at it, you know. And that's how it should be.
It's
You
not.
feel the less is more thing is kind of starting to kind of come over the horizon a little bit, where it's gotten so wild with full panel paint jobs and everything getting, is it starting to maybe back off a little bit and be a little more like low,
I don't
you
know. I don't even know if less is more is the way to say it. It's just think more.
Yeah.
Placement and colors and some things don't go next to each other. Just because it worked on the last one doesn't mean it works on this one. And that's that whole thing about you do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you can't throw all your tricks. Fish
Yeah.
scales, lace,
Oh, Jesus
teardrop,
Christ, man.
this,
I'm so
that,
fucking tired of all of it, man.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of all of it. There's a lot of dudes out there that you look at this shit, there's a method to this.
Yeah.
Panels have been around way the fuck longer than diners
yeah.
have.
Oh, yeah.
And every
They sure
honky
have.
in the goddamn country has riding a street bob with
Yeah.
fucking shit barfed all over
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like almost a level of like disrespect, you know? I'm tired of it,
Did you
man.
say honky?
Yeah, I said
That was a
honky.
great use of the
That's
word
a racial
honky. I
slur,
like
you
that.
know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and
every
a lot of
howdy
guys-
doody motherfucker is hitting on a lowrider fucking paint job now.
But they're
Fuck
not even
outta here with
lowrider
that
paint
shit,
jobs.
man.
Customs have been around longer than lowriders. So that paint job started in the 60s on cars, on gassers, and
yeah,
customs.
Customs with a K.
Yeah.
Lowriders have only
Right.
been around since the 70s.
You got to think
Who
of
do you think originated
Watson.
the panel paint job? Like who, not or maybe not originated, but who did the first one that just stands out in time?
Am I right?
Who?
Watson.
Yeah, Watson, and then there's a guy back east who's still around, Yosemite Sam.
I've heard of him.
He was big in the chopper world
Okay.
back in the day, crazy bikes and all that. But
Right,
they were doing that kind of stuff. Most of the drag race painters, back in the day,
right.
and that's where the fish scales came from, and
Yeah.
those kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of bike do you ride right now? We already know, but we want to
Me?
hear you say it.
For the people at home.
Yeah, so
I
the
ride
people
a
listening,
2007 Road King.
do you like it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's a Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson.
Hear that, Harley Davidson? Potato, potato, potato. Do you like it?
Yeah, I ride it every day.
You wouldn't fucking ride
That's
it
my
if you
car.
didn't like it.
Well, I
idiot.
mean, there's bikes that we have that, I don't like. Why you gotta get all fucking antsy?
I like
Chill.
it better now that my friends at San Diego Customs dialed it in.
Thanks, bud. Wink, wink.
That's what he was fishing for.
No, not at all. Who painted it? Just kidding. What's your favorite band?
My favorite band?
Yeah, of all time. Here's a question, and it's for everybody.
Okay.
Think of your 10 all-time life-changing albums.
Oh, Jesus
Top
Christ.
10. I've been thinking about it for about 6 months, and I got
How the
3.
fuck can anybody answer that?
How
man?
can you ask us
on
that
the fly?
on the
yeah.
fly?
Oh, no, I don't
but
mean-
you've
no.
been thinking about it for 6 months.
I don't need to answer it now. It's
He's been
something to
writing
think
them down
about.
and picking them
We can
up.
go back to the original
Fucking
question,
Christ.
which was what's your favorite band at the
Yeah.
moment? How about that?
The Cult
Oh yeah,
has always been.
God damn.
nice.
That's pretty fucking
Little
cool.
Ian Asbury.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Bernetti are good buddies. They do all kinds of wacky shit.
They're one of
together.
those bands that they weren't angry enough when I was a kid to like, and they were
Yeah.
on MTV and shit. And I was
Yeah.
like, ah, fuck
Yeah, but
that.
every
they had-
contest you went
they
to,
had like
Yeah.
Joe Johnson and
Fucking
Kevin Staub
playing.
in their videos,
Oh, yeah.
so that got my attention.
Is
Now I
that why
like
Kevin
them, now I
Staub turned
appreciate
into a
them.
pirate?
I don't know.
It's around, yeah.
It was in his graphics.
Could be.
Either he became a pirate because of the graphics, or he was a pirate and did the graphics.
We got to get Kevin Staub on this show.
We should.
I have so many questions for him.
Oh man, yeah, he's like the first person I ever saw that wore two different Converse Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
Like one pink and one black.
He was just punk as fuck back
for
then.
sure.
But that's
And
when
he still
zebra
is.
print was punk back then.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Remember Pro Design pads? They're real big. Like
Oh yeah.
fucking went all the way down past your
Yeah.
calves, and you can get them with actual cow skin on the back.
Yeah, Salba fucking wearing what,
Yeah,
the leopard skin ones?
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Still rocks 'em.
Yeah. Imagine how hot those were. Like, because you don't really remember because you're a kid.
Those things fucking stank
they
so bad.
Fucking stank so
Imagine how
bad.
bad
Remember
your
rector
fucking-
protectors, the
we've
things you
been
put
about-
on underneath?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, those things stunk just as bad.
Oh, that was gross.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you miss
And
skateboarding?
squeezing your Protect to get the sweat
Oh, and
out?
pushing all the sweat down? Yeah.
We're old.
Yeah. Do you miss skateboarding?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think if you did it today or tomorrow, you would fall and break something?
Probably. All the time I want to skate again.
Me too. I like skating.
I just don't have the time to creep into it, which sucks.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever want to skateboard, there's a couple of them over there. Feel free to just grab one.
Yeah,
I have
we're not-
skateboards
we're
in my
not.
shop.
We don't. Our liability insurance is not going to cover
I did that a couple years ago. Before we moved to the other spot, I was skating with my friend Corey.
Yeah.
We had the Tumyeto half pipe in my backyard, and I had skated it for months. Never had a half pipe in my backyard. It was like a dream. And I did a backside Smith grind, and my board slipped out. I slid down transition and put my arm back, and it just fucking cracked.
Oh, yeah.
And I never broke a bone in my life. So that white hot flash of pain shit, I was like, fuck. And I looked down, I was like, it was like some kooky way, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. And I didn't have insurance, and we went to the hospital, and I got a hinge put in.
Nice.
And then for like probably 6-8 weeks, I sat there going, fuck, man, now I got this rad ramp, and I don't even want to ride it, because how am I going to do anything if I
Yeah.
break my other arm? This is fucked.
Dude, getting old sucks.
Yeah.
Fucking responsibility and shit.
That's the
Crazy.
thing, responsibility and having to go to work on Monday.
Do you eat meat?
Absolutely.
Drink beer?
Yes, sir.
It's cool.
Smoke weed.
No.
Smoke pot? You ever smoke pot?
Nope.
What?
Are you for-
Unbelievable, huh?
Are you
Dude,
for?
that's
we
crazy.
asked him that a long time ago, and he said if I smoke weed, I won't even, either I'll want to paint or I'll just not want to paint.
No, because people always tell me, man, you should smoke and your paint jobs would get crazy. But then in my head, I think, what if I couldn't do it?
Right.
It's not worth that chance.
Yeah,
It affects everybody so
Yeah.
Yeah,
differently,
but it's,
man.
the weed
not a
is going to go away.
one-size-fits-all.
It's not going to
Yeah,
be.
I
It's
know,
not
but-
permanent.
You know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Now you sound like a drug dealer. You know, like you're trying to sell him some
hey,
shit.
you want to buy a bag?
It goes away, man. It's
Yeah.
good for you. It's good for your paint.
I don't feel like I'm missing anything. So
That's cool.
How did you meet Pete?
How did I meet Pete?
Yeah, I don't know how you met Pete. How did you meet Pete?
I
the
met
place
Pete.
across the street.
At the
Yeah, I was actually
Jerk
looking.
house.
I was looking for.
he tapped your foot under the stall.
No, I was going to get pizza, and,
got some
and
on
he
you.
came out, and I bumped into him. And I was like, "Yo, dude!" And he was like, "Hey."
He's like,
and
"Fuck
he had
yeah,
like
we
paint
jerked
all
off in
over
the
him. And I was
bushes
like, "You paint?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I'm going to disregard what you just did." And then we just had pizza and
I
talked.
don't care if you just jerked off.
Yeah,
Oh man,
that's gross.
too much.
I met Pete. I actually met Pete. Fuck, I don't even remember when I met Pete. We were. I called. He used to work at Kevin Norton's shop in San Marcos because Kevin had a booth and they shared it. And I think that bike right over there was the first full paint job, the FTW bike, which was Johnny's at the time.
Johnny's first
Oh,
one.
I think that was the first one, yeah. And then we did an FXR, I think. And then he said, when are you going to step up and let me paint your bike? Not black.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how about paint my fairing black? And that's when that argument happened. And then that was it, man. Then we did the FXR. And it's been home run after home run from there, man. If our bikes were black, people wouldn't like them. I mean, that's just so everybody can thank
true.
Pete for
They
everything.
look
Thanks,
like everybody
Pete.
else's, right? That lineup outside the bar of all black ones.
San Diego Customs Skittle Collections.
And who are you guys?
How did we start? That's the voice that no one can see. That's the guy in the corner.
That's probably just going to be subtitled at the bottom.
That's
Ah,
the
okay.
man.
Oh, really? Let's just leave you
behind-
on there, man. That's cool.
The man behind the camera.
So the shop started for me in my garage in 2006, and
after Chip watched an episode of Monster Garage and got a boner.
No, that's not what happened at all. I watched Monster Garage and it
You watched the full
inspired me.
season.
I did. I watched my friend. This is how it went down. Remember Rick and Ben?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well,
Who's Rick and Ben?
Rick and Ben are the guys who ran Monster Garage.
Okay.
At the time, it was rickandben.com. It was when the internet just started. They had this great fucking idea, and that's what it was. So, Rick and Ben have a cousin. Rick and Ben are friends. Rick has a cousin who is named Mike, which you know. We'll call him Big Mike for this conversation.
All right.
So, Big Mike...
well, that's his name, so carry on.
Big Mike basically turned me on to Monster Garage, and that then spawned me to go on an all-out rampage to figure out how to get into the motorcycle industry, whether it be at a dirt bike shop, at a Harley dealer, at like Moreland's Choppers. I mean, I applied at all those places, and I didn't know shit. Nothing, zip.
What were you doing before that?
Just selling pot, skating, having fun in life.
General loser.
Yeah, general, just, California living, right?
Yeah.
You did it too. Except for probably didn't sell pot.
No.
That's a whole nother podcast.
There you go.
That's the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
So eventually I just got hired at Biggs Harley Davidson at the time it was in Oceanside, and learned the ropes of Harley Davidson. Started my own website, put some content up there. A lot of it was bikes that you had painted because I was into choppers and your paint.
Yeah.
And, at that time, I mean, how it was. You were pretty much a paint rock star, Discovery Channel legend. Let's make your head a little bigger for this conversation.
Not big.
I know, I'm just kidding. But back then, you know how it was. If you walked into a motorcycle show or a motorcycle shop and they're like, "That's fucking HotDog," you know what I mean? Like it was a whole different vibe because people didn't know that you're just a normal dude. Everyone treated you like a super duper Discovery star, So.
I heard your name for years before I actually met you.
Yeah, you were basically back then. You were unapproachable as far as to say, "Hey, can we
I
ask
didn't
you
know
for?"
who he was when I met him.
You did? Well, didn't you used to go take pictures of his cars at car shows?
Yeah, I was a car guy, so I used to go to car shows and stuff. And then I met.
That's how I met Mike, through
Pete
Kim and
through.
Jay.
Yeah.
Through
What year
Kim
was
and-
that?
Fuck.
When did they have their store in Santee?
It was before that. Oh no, it was probably Santee.
Around that era.
Yeah, down in the parking lot where they had the show down there. Yeah, that was probably 15 years ago.
Yeah,
Man.
something like that.
So 06, you quit Biggs.
Yeah,
open up your own
I had a
shop
little
in your
run
house.
in. I had a little run in with the internet police, which is also another Googleable thing, which you can go ahead and Google and figure it out for yourself. But
Like some Chris Hansen shit or something?
yeah, just not some Chris Hansen shit. That's where it would be. That's where he comes in. More like just some web shit that I had to deal with. And when I dealt with it, I needed a place to put my content, and I started SanDiegoCustoms.com because it was the easiest and coolest sounding thing at the time. And then the domain was $12 and blah, 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 blah. So I transferred all my content from the other URL and went from there. And a couple of years later, Biggs Harley Davidson closed. I quit. It was a Sunday, January 31st. Or excuse me, December 31st, and then they did it. They did it on a Friday, the last day of the year. Fired everybody and kept like 3 or 4 people on. And said go to San Marcos, and I was like, fuck that, because you're gonna be the guy that says, hey dude, where's my bike? And you got to go, I don't know, it's over there, 17 miles away, and 100 million pieces in boxes. I don't know when you're gonna get it back. And like I can't, I have problems talking to people anyway. So it's like for me to look at some guy and just be like, that guy. I couldn't do that, so I just kind of resigned, said fuck it, and started building out of my house. And then it just transitioned into one house, and then I moved to another house. And then it got to the point where my garage was filled with bikes, and that's around the time when it was the beginning of the black bike craze.
Yeah.
And then we split out of there, went down to Tumyeto, and then that's when we hooked up with you.
Do you think you and your massive intellect could have picked a better name than San Diego Customs?
I don't know, I probably could have, but I mean, fuck you. You know what I'm saying, dude? Fuck you.
I was just curious, that's all.
I picked San Diego Customs because of Monster Garage, Motorcycle Mania, all those bullshit shows that were on repeat on Discovery Channel, and one of those shows was Pimp My Ride, which was at the shop West Coast Customs, and obviously West Coast Customs was taken, and San Diego is where I live, and custom motorcycles is what I'm into, so I just kind of put 1, 2, and 3 together, and fucking man,
pure genius.
Guess what?
Ain't he neat?
And now you're part of it. So I don't hear you saying, "Hey, can we change the fucking name?"
So how Mikey became a part of it was, I remember when you were in your house and you built some fucking killer bikes came out of that house, and it was comfortable, it was easy, it was safe, no low overhead, and you had a waiting list of people waiting to get in there to fucking make
Well, I
their
think
bikes
between me and Barker, we made him move into Tomieto. He was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, man, you got to get the fuck out of your garage because this shit's
when you
ain't
first
working
moved into
anymore."
Tomieto, of course, I'm not going to create any fucking bad energy, but I was like, what the fuck is he doing, dude? Like, I thought you were making a huge mistake. Back then, I'm like,
Yeah,
does
you
he
know
have
why?
the
Because you have
business?
another
Like,
bill.
You're creating all this fucking overhead, man. The place looked so big back then too. I'm like, is he gonna be able to
1,000
fill
square
that fucking-
feet.
I was tripping for you big time, dude. I knew it was possible, but I was like, man, I hope that he can obtain that and like see it through and make it happen. And then next thing you know, like feature bike, it just started rolling. All the hits started coming out of there. Yeah, and then what helped you out too was hooking up with Mikey to organize all that. Because I see you as talented as fuck, but not the most organized dude on the planet.
Well, I'm pretty organized, but I know what you're saying in a business sense.
Exactly.
Because I have OCD and I have problems where organization
is. As soon as you started making parts,
important.
I knew like Mikey was perfect for that. Like that's not an easy, like what you guys said before. You guys think like everyone thinks it's so fucking easy to make parts, make it happen, see it through, but the quality of them and the standard you're held to and how much punishment these parts got to take and the durability. You know what a big part of that is that if we made bullshit and sold bullshit, then people would call us and they would say, "Hey, this doesn't fit, and this is bullshit, and this broke," and that would piss us off so much because we wouldn't want to hear it, and we'd be like, "Fuck, man, all our shit sucks. Why the fuck are we doing it?" Yeah.
I don't understand why other people don't do that. Well, but the guys who are making shitty parts.
What it boils down to is we like fucking shit that works, and we like shit that's good quality, and we don't. Yeah. We've never put crap on our fucking bikes. Yeah. So hence that fucking turned into making good quality shit.
Yeah, the standard you guys uphold is fucking crazy to me. So it's like with you're too perfectionists, which could create a difficult situation, but it works. And the way it's rad to see Mikey kind of running in day to day, making sure stuff gets shipped, making sure everything while you're just able to create, and that's why these bikes come out the way they do.
No, well,
it's rad.
And him, that dude over there.
Yeah,
the reason we're sitting at this table.
I thought I was the reason why they came out like that.
Well, you are kind of. You know what sucks?
Reason, no doubt.
You know what sucks? This guy, he'll paint the whole fucking bike, and then he'll be like, "Here's everything," and then you put it together, and then you scratch it, and I'm like, "Hey, can you fix it?" And he's like, "No." Fix it later when it's apart.
No. What Chip does is he gives Pete everything to paint, and then after everything's painted, he goes, "Oh, here's another fucking 5 pieces. Can you just paint this real quick?"
Last time I want 2 pieces for his bike, the little cover and something else. I didn't really fuck around there. We did some thinking.
You did better on that one.
Yeah. Still not acceptable.
Yeah. So we've got a whole bunch more bikes this year that we're going to be doing, and Pete will be probably painting, depending on his schedule. Well, let's talk about the cutlet.
No.
What?
Wait, here's this. I'm not saying we're at any certain level in the fucking motorcycle game per se, but we wouldn't be where we are without Pete's fucking paint.
Oh no, we wouldn't. I know that.
No, I know you know that. I'm putting it on the fucking record.
All right, put it on the record.
It's on the record, dog.
On the record.
On the record.
Hey, Pete.
And I appreciate it.
Let's talk about
fucking nuts and bolts, dude.
Let's talk about Hinkle's truck that you just unveiled.
Car, Model A sedan.
Sorry, car. I say truck because I instantly think of the gold truck because that's the first thing. Yeah. Let's talk about the unveiling of that at SEMA.
How did that go?
How did that go? Tell us about the car, about what people said, and the whole deal with it.
Well, first, over the course of 3 years, I have about 3,000 hours in the paint job.
Jesus fucking Christ.
See?
That's Jackson. He's like, son of a bitch.
Fuck that.
That car is awesome.
And we've kind of been waiting for a good place to show it off kind of thing. So SEMA was coming up. Car's ready. paint company I used, PPG. They needed a car for their booth, so we got together on that. No one had seen the car other than coming to my shop, or if I physically showed you a photo.
Right.
So Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. when the show opened, boom, it was on, and there was a crowd.
Did you
around.
unveil it, or was it just parked there?
They didn't unveil it. They probably should have, but they didn't think ahead of time to do like a press release, so there's no reason to pull a cover if there's no crowd around it.
Right,
Most of the other
right.
guys that unveil cars there, they do it at noon or 1 o'clock, so there's
So everybody's there.
300 people around
There's
a car.
a crowd and cameras.
I heard there was 300 people around that car all day anyway.
Yeah, that was the worst part, is trying to take a photo. You couldn't see the car.
Right.
But it was rad.
That's cool.
It made all of it worth it. And
How much do you think went into the paint? Not hours-wise, dollar, just the paint. Like for you to paint it and the cost of the paint from the cost of the car.
Say that again?
How much money
Uh-huh.
is in the paint? For between the supplies, bodywork, you.
Should be, or
Well, if
What I
the average
charged them.
guy was to come in and say, hey, this is what I want.
that paint job, if it was by the hour and all that, it'd probably be about 150 grand, 200 grand.
Sounds like an unbelievable number, but yeah.
How much did he? What motor did he have in that? Just to let everybody know.
I think it's like a 570 cubic inch aluminum Hemi, the 871 blower and fuel injection. So
What, and the horsepower? It's something ridiculous,
I would say
right?
probably around 2,000.
So will that thing
2,500.
ever get driven, or is that's strictly show?
It will. He'll probably show it for a year, because cars aren't really good for more than a year, because
Yeah.
you go to the same show again. Oh, I saw that last time. And,
Right.
But I don't know how drivable it's going to be. It's a tube chassis, metal seats. There's no upholstery in it.
Tube chassis that Steve SPF fabrication.
Yeah, Steve
Eric.
did an awesome job building
Yeah.
all that.
That's actually how I met Steve, is from that car, because he said, you want to meet the best fabricator I know? And it happened to be Steve. And, we have some common denominators,
Yep. What's next with that car? Is he going to try? Do you think he'll get the Riddler?
No, because
no?
that one right there, you have to hold on to the car until the Riddler show.
Nobody can see
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
on
yeah.
it either.
So it has to be for, and it's not that kind of car. That kind of show has gotten to be where it's not so much custom hot rods. It's more like concept cars, but hot rods.
Okay.
But if you're not a couple million
More
in
like
it,
a
you're
Pebble.
not
It's
competing.
more like a Pebble Beach type fucking.
They're still custom cars,
Okay.
but they're more stylized custom cars. They're
Got
not
it.
crazy hot rod
All right.
things.
All right, got it.
How long did it take you to paint that red bike over there? Random question, sorry.
Yeah.
What is that red bike called?
Should I ask him that?
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, how long did it take you to paint the red bike?
Big Red. Yeah, Big Red.
Yeah. How long did it take you to paint that thing?
It was probably over the course of a month once I got going on it. And then you kept feeding me parts and,
Yeah. Well, because I remember.
Damn, that fast?
yeah.
My bike took
Well,
like 2
no.
weeks.
Hold on. That was actually, you're talking, what you heard is the actual time to paint.
Yeah.
The time to prep the frame and all
okay.
the other
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
that took a year. Because he moved.
And it also sat for a while, too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it sat for a long time.
Yeah,
I'm
there was
sure.
a whole bunch of shit going on in life, which is what everyone has to deal with.
Yeah. But when you were asking earlier about, like, who I thought were the painters and all that, that thing at SEMA was cool, is seeing those guys walking towards me in the aisle with 100,000 people in the building and doing the bow down to it,
Fucking-
which was rad. That
Win-
feels better than.
I feel like you're winning.
Yeah, it's awesome. you
Charlie
know.
Sheen winning.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
because any normal person's going to walk up to that car and go, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
But someone who does it and goes,
Yeah,
"What
yeah.
the
Is it?
hell?"
Are there pictures of it online where people can Google it when they see this? So, because we don't have a screen to show anybody.
It's all over. I don't know exactly where it would be. It
I
was
wonder if it would be
easily
at-
the most photographed thing at that whole SEMA show.
Yeah, so you probably just
You
have
know.
to type it in.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, if you look at the pop-up on the screen when you're watching this, you'll see it.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, bud. I didn't know that we had that kind of modern technology.
Yeah, boy.
Stupid.
You're fucking stupid.
God, dude.
Let's not argue. We've had a whole nice little podcast. We don't need to hear your
Probably the
fucking
longest
shit.
conversation I've ever heard Chip and Mikey have without fucking arguing with each other.
Well, he wants to argue. It's in his nature.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
Let's
want
just
to argue.
stop.
Yeah, yeah, so you-
Chill. We'll just come off of that.
Okay, no, here, so-
Okay. Yeah, so Pete, what do you think? We bought this table for the podcast.
No
Do you
way.
like it?
It's awesome.
Pete wants to Pete's got to bounce. He's got to make it to the chicken and rice place before it closes. He's been going there for how many years?
Meat.
God,
Been going there for how
it's
long?
not even meat,
20
actually,
something
it's
years.
chicken,
He's been
that's
going
poultry.
there. He's been going there for 20-something years. I went there
That's
once. I'm
poultry.
never going back. It's
Shut the
fucking
fuck
gross,
up.
dude.
It's meat. It's poultry. It's not meat.
I think chicken's delicious, but that place is fucking gross.
You
Okay.
suck.
I'm sorry.
you know.
So
It's
stoked
horrible,
we're
dude.
wrapping it up. I got
Let's
poop.
let's not.
Danny Dumps over here is
Yeah,
going to take a poop.
let's just go before we get in a fucking debate over.
Pete, thank you so much
dietary.
for fucking coming and doing our first show. We
Cool.
appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks,
Yeah,
Pete.
Pete.
Awesome.
Thank you, Pete.
You are a
good spreading the word.
You're a fucking rock
Love you,
star, my
brother.
friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
and we're done. So everybody, check this out. You can download this on iTunes, and you can go to our channel on YouTube.
Yeah, stream it. You can watch
Stream
it.
and watch it on YouTube and download it on iTunes. And that's it. We're done. Come back, and we will have more.
Bye bye.
Peace.
Oh,